Co-parenting. We know it's really not about liking each other as parents. Of course, we can get along. Um, we should, but a lot of times that doesn't happen. Well, I wouldn't say a lot of times. Well, some of the times it doesn't happen. And I definitely know about struggle. I grew up, my oldest son. We have, of course, two different households, and we co-parent together. Shout out to his mother. Phenomenal mom. But at times we were not always on the same page. And our child, of course, he shouldn't manage our emotions, and that's a fact. We have grown a lot, but we still have room to grow. And of course, I feel it's over. It could be over egos, maybe old wounds. It's a struggle. The struggle's been real. My son has just turned 18 now as well, so it's definitely been a challenge, but we're still parents. We still have to parent. So we got to figure it out. We got to parent and we have to figure it out. And I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of perspective of me being a single father. Of course, I'm married now. I also have another child who is the age of 7 right now. And again, totally different ball game. And we'll get into that when you have both parents in the household. But it's definitely been a struggle. And I definitely want to share some of the things that I've taken and things that I've learned throughout the years with raising humans together with the community so we can grow together. Two separate households is two different rules, of course. And I must say, I'm truly, truly blessed. I have a son. He never really chose sides. He never ever said, "Hey, I'd rather be over here than over there." I'm blessed for that. He just goes where he's supposed to go. He knows he has to spend time at his mom's house. He knows he has to spend time at his dad's house. And we do the week on, week off. We have done this for years, and it's been working. For our child, I can say. I know a lot of friends that I have, close friends. It is tough on them, on and their kids, and at times they have issues. But for the most part, my son kind of knows he never chose up, as we would say, and say, "Well, Dad, I like to be over here." Uh, I would tend to think he would probably want to be over his mom's house because I am a stern parent. A lot of more strict rules at my house. But the biggest hurdle that I've grown to learn, or I've had to communicate with his mom to make sure we have an understanding that I don't got to be the favorite. I'm not his friend, and it ain't no competition. And I think once we start getting that out the way in those three things, we had a better understanding. And my son knows, and I've told him, look, man, it ain't no competition with me. I'm gonna be your father, and that's all I'm gonna be. My job is to make sure you're a productive young man to the society. And I think I've done a bang up job with the help from the community as well. Of course, my wife, she plays a big role in it as well. But that seems to be an issue with a lot of co-parenting. Of course, some parents want to be that favorite one, and they can do that monetarily by saying, "Hey, I'm going to give my child money more to get them to like me." Uh, Buy them things, let them do certain things as well out their home, and again, that seems to go into like a competition mode, which you got to nip that in the bud from the get go. You got to make sure that's clear, and that's always been clear with me and my son. But those hurdles, that was some of the things that we struggled with at first. The consistency, of course, as well. The rules of the household. Of course, it's two different households, and I can't control on what's going over there. Much as I would like to, because to keep it consistent, but I understand I had to learn that I can't control that. She has her own household, the way she does things, and I have mine. But it still seems to work out. The punishment as well, that was an issue trying to stay consistent on that. I remember one time I shared an incident. I was really upset at my boy, and I took his phone. Now I know when he comes to my house, I'm standing on that, and he know that. He won't get his phone. If I say I'm gonna take it for a week, whether it's 3 or 4 days, he's not gonna get his phone, and he knows that. So it was the time where I was really upset, and I said, "You know what? You gonna go a couple weeks without this phone." So it was her week to get my son, his mother, and to try to stand on my punishment, I told her I got so mad I threw his phone in the pool. And I'll be damned, in 2 days, she hit me up and was like, "Yeah, I bought a new phone, and his phone, his half is X, Y, and Z." I'm like, "What?" So that really blew my mind. I probably should have communicated a little bit better. But again, I know usually if he goes over there, it's sometimes, I can't say all times, it's a different world, different ball game over there. But I try to pretty much let her know, look, I'm standing on 10 toes in this punishment, and I got his phone. And I would have thought she would figure, okay, well, you threw his phone in the water, you're gonna get him another one. And she didn't. She wouldn't got him one. But mothers is gonna mothers. Well, I wouldn't say all mothers. She got him a new phone. So I really feel I probably could have communicated a little better on that one. But yeah, that was definitely wild. That- but again, that's what it's about. Sharing tools. Hopefully we can, I can share some tools with you guys. Um, and it can help. Of course, communication is important as well. We talked about that. Emails, texts. It was times, y'all, it was bad. And I'm sure some of y'all been there. It was real bad. And emails was the best way because now you have documentation and it's in order. Texting is cool, but I think email is much better. Sometimes you can utilize your family members. I do have a sister that's real cool with my son's mother. They've been cool for years. Actually, that's how I met my son's mother. So if there was a time that it was something really really urgent, I would definitely go to my sister and be like, "Hey, can you pass this along?" Or if it was something that was important and needed, and I knew that the email or text wouldn't do the justice, I would sometimes call on my sister. I also utilize my son's mother's mom. We've been decent, we've been solid, and I know a lot of times when things got difficult, at times I can talk to her, so that helped out as well. And some of us have better relationships with the parents, or whether it's again a sister, another family member. I've also learned staying calm. Staying calm helps as well. If you're upset with the parent, with the other parent, sometimes I've learned, just wait 24 hours to respond, so you can cool down a little bit. Let the smoke clear. And of course, using I over E. We talked about that before, in the other vlog, intellect over emotions. And like I told y'all, I use that pretty much for everything. I don't only teach it; I use it myself. Because at times you have to. I mean, it's times, man, I was so upset. And in the past, I'm not a perfect parent. I've said some things that I probably shouldn't have said. And I'm sure, she regrets that as well. She said some things she shouldn't have said. But it does get difficult. And I understand that. But we have to use our intellect over emotions, and we have to stay calm. 24 hours is always great time to respond over a situation that you may have had, and a topic. I also like to treat it at times as a business, co-parenting as a business. And I think that helps it out as well. Just being professional, try to be a professional. I try to think sometimes, hey, how would I respond if I was on a job, or if I was at work, just to try to keep the peace and be professional. But those are some strategies and some techniques as well that I've used, and it's been helpful. I also struggled with the time, of course. As the father, I always felt that he's a boy, so he should be with his dad more. So I had to learn to work with that and overlook that, understanding that the mom, of course, that's her child as well, that she wants her child as well. In simple terms. So that was something I struggled with, especially at times when he struggled a little bit. I'm like, you know what? He should be with his father majority of the time, so I can make sure I can raise him the right way and teach him the things that he needs to be taught. But I think his mother came around, and I think she understood a little bit more as he got older that, yeah, he probably needs to be around his father a little bit more. So that got a lot better. But again, we do split, 1 week on, 1 week off. and it has been working. I do understand and see too the difference now when parents stay for the kids. I tell you now, me and my wife, we have a 7-year-old son, and I can just tell the difference between the child I co-parent with and the child that's in the household. Big difference. My son is loved. He knows by his mom and dad. He's a vibrant kid. And it's cool that me and his mom will, of course, my youngest, my wife, we're always on the same page. We may disagree on some things, but we tend to iron it out and talk about it. I mean, we have to be in the same household. So, but it's been good. It's been good, and I can see the difference. Now, I also understand too keeping the peace. I can say that if the environment ain't peaceful, I can see how some parents leave as well, and I can understand that. But for the most part, the kids understand it as well. They know when there's friction. They know when so I understand both sides. The parents that do stay, and I can see now too the parents, and I understand the parents that leave. Because you want peace. I know with me, I have to have peace. Just in life for me to be able to do the things that I need to do. So as a father, you know what I mean? That's my take on that. I also understand as a parent and co-parenting that you won't win them all. And some things you just gotta let go. I give another example. Again, my son's senior year. It's a senior, so it's an HBCU tour coming up, and I really, really want him to go. He's been to one last year. Shout out to Pastor West on his HBCU tour that he provides for our youth. You do have to pay, but it's definitely well worth the money. I wanted him to go this year, but to my understanding, to my knowledge, it later that when I've set it up for him to go, that he is supposed to go with his girlfriend to Miami for spring break. Now, as a parent, of course, his senior year, I'm about priorities. His priorities should be going on a HBCU tour, because again, it's a lot of opportunities with that. Possibly more scholarships, possibly a full ride. Who knows? And just I want him to be around an environment. His mother felt as well. He went last year. Let him go with his girlfriend. I feel that it's plenty more times that he can go on spring break with his girlfriend, but it's his senior year. He should be locked in, focusing on getting all that he can get, getting all the game that he can get so he can be productive in college. But from my understanding, the ticket is already bought, and that's what he wants to do. And his mom is siding that she's supporting that as well, him going out of town with his girlfriend to Miami for spring break. I said, L, I gotta take. I take that L. It won't always be 50-50 as well. 50-50 in meaning it's some things that I have to purchase and his mom don't agree with. And there's some things she has to purchase that I don't agree with. And I've learned that as well. That hey, sometimes you know what? It's my child. I gotta do what I gotta do. And another example with that was scholarship. Yeah, shout out to Dr. Rhea. She does scholarship lady. That's what I call her, the scholarship lady. She always provides scholarships to the youth. She's the best. She's the best in the business at finding them and putting you in that driver's seat. It was a time where I wanted to move because he's a senior. The time is ticking on getting him prepared, signed up for scholarship, on opportunities for scholarships. His mom was like, just not right now. And I'm like, damn, this is a senior year. He needs to be getting ready to get to the next level. I had to work that out because I felt that was important. It was a little costly, but again, sometimes that's what we have to do. And there's times it's been vice versa. It's times that she's hit me up, hey, he wants these shoes for basketball. I'm like, well, didn't we just buy him some shoes for basketball? Yeah, Adrian, but he wants these. And I'm like, that's on you then. I know I look in this boy's closet right now, and he got shoes everywhere, shoes that he don't even wear. Oh, and another three, $400 pair of shoes. Nah, I'm gonna sit this one out. And we've learned to have the understanding that sometimes she's gonna pay and on what she feels is important. I'm gonna pay what I feel is important. Not always saying that we don't come together and combine and pay for things for them, which majority of the time we do. And we have an understanding on that. But it's sometimes that we just, we don't we don't feel that it's important, and we have our own opinions for that matter. Another thing that I also want to discuss is and give you a little tip on is respect. And my son definitely knows respect is priority in my household. And I noticed some parents as well, they'll let their child disrespect another parent, or badmouth another parent. I would never let my son badmouth his mother, even no, and not that I'm saying he would, and I know my son wouldn't. I don't think my son's mother would let him badmouth me as well. But it's times when they get a certain age, they do get snappy. They get to smell themselves. That's what I say. And it's times that I've heard him on the phone, kind of being snappy with his mom, and I check that because I'm that parent. You're gonna respect all adults, especially your parents. So please make sure you're that parent. Don't badmouth your kid's mother or father, and just make sure the respect is across the board and it's mutual. But that's one of the things I really, really make sure that is understood is respect. Because respect goes a long way. Even just being respectful. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. As a young adult, that takes you so far. And shout out to my frat brother Donchi, man. He does an amazing job. And that's why I love my nieces and nephews. They my nieces and nephews because that's bros. But they so respectful. You know what I mean? All our kids, are so respectful. Shout out to my boy Ox, my line brother Leonard, a brother to me as well. But yes, sir, and yes, ma'am, go so far. And that's all that I've known, my partners, they kids is just respect. That rubs off because of course my son, he hangs with their kids, and they all are just respectful kids. Respect, it goes a long way. And shout out to the moms too. T King, I see you, sis. Y'all do an amazing job with your boys, man. Y'all know that they're my little young men right there. They're my nephews. So and it's all love. Some things I just don't do with my son. I don't even play with fight with my son. I see some kids, some parents, some dads, they slap box with their kids. I don't play none of them games because it comes a time where your kids, like I said, they get to smelling themselves and feeling themselves as some of the people before us would say, and they want to test you. I'm not taking no L's from my kids, but that just it puts in their mind that, oh, okay, well maybe I can take my mom or my dad one of these days. I don't play them games. My youngest, I do play with him, but it's to a point where I just pick him up and throw him around. But when it gets to a certain age, I don't square up with my son and, slap box. I don't do none of that weird stuff because I just feel that that definitely leads to other things in their mindset as well. That shapes a different mindset of what they think, and maybe they can get one up on you. And I don't even want my son thinking that because it'd be a bad day for him if he ever thought that or he acted on it. But I just wanted to give a little, a few strategies, a few tips, some of the things that I use. Please, in the comments, you guys share some things. Also, please share with somebody who can use this. We all know people, parents, and co-parents, friends, family members. Please share with them. Hopefully, they can take something from this, um, and grow from it. You know what I mean? So please share. Please subscribe. Again, peace, man. Thank y'all. Let's grow together and see you on the next one.